What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a 2007 mixtape by Dem Franchize Boyz. Basically, this product is called The White Tee Gang, the mixtape, and it came out somewhere in 2007. Thing about this particular product is this is a very secretive project here. Really, the information about it is very minimal and it's not commonly known just within much traces. I'd have to suppose it's not shown on Wikipedia or Rate Your Music or Discogs, some of those type places in their standard discography of Dem Franchize Boyz, which is kind of an interesting concept. I was able to find it by looking up Dem Franchize Boyz mixtapes in Google and pitches like that, but it really doesn't have like a standard listing. Apparently, like the Internet Archive says that this is like a bootleg project. Not really sure it's full blown. I want to say this might have been an official mixtape. Maybe it got pulled. I don't know the common information. Really, the information about Dem Franchize Boyz nowadays is kind of minimal, I'd have to say. So it's just not common knowledge just because they're kind of products of yesteryear, the George Bush years, 20 years ago, pitches like that. But this would have to say is just kind of the concept that I knew that they had some mixtapes. I kind of figured that they had some mixtapes out somewhere in those type days. I'd have to say it just felt like they probably did. But just the concept of it is just the fact it seemed like some of these got pulled in particular as far as that pitch went. So it's just kind of, Wikipedia does at least list that they had one mixtape from 2011 called Voltron, which is pretty much the most recent project, that they did. But in terms of ones from like their 2000s heyday stuff that would have been around the Dat Piff era in like the mid 2000s, more of like Lil Wayne Dedication 2, Dedication 1 type days, the Drought 3 type days, some of those type fairs. I mean, it just made sense that they probably had a mixtape or two somewhere amongst that particular era, but for the most part, the information on Dem Franchize Boyz is just becoming increasingly minimal, I'd have to say, and it's just not as commonly known. So if they did have, I was at least able to find this particular mixtape, and the real bountiful thing about this particular one is that it's original material. So this might have been what supposedly was going to be Dem Franchize Boyz' 2007 album here. It's just kind of a concept. It might have been something they were, at least I do want to say that they were active in 2007. They had like some buzz songs and pitches like that. Snap Rap was very much in effect in 2007 still. Is kind of the concept that it just is kind of, it's just very mysterious as to the product of this particular stuff. This really is just not really anywhere on like the aspect of any of these places. Like I was saying, Rate Your Music, Discogs, Wikipedia, some of those type places, probably even allmusic.com, some of those type places just don't really have this noted as far as anything in particular. So it's this kind of thing. It's a secret project here, so turn to Acid Roots to find some of this type stuff if you are looking for further information on Dem Franchize Boyz, and you definitely should, because this is a classic mixtape here. This is going to get a rave and glitzy and classic type score, I'd have to say. I was really surprised by this. Was not expecting just this project out of nowhere to be like such a classic and pitch type project. It does have some leftover snap type cuts, even though it's not as furious as some of the ones from like their early 2006 heyday, like Oh I Think They Like Me and Lean With It, Rock With It, and Riding Rims, and some of those type ones. I would have to say this is a bountiful type project. Definitely has more ideas than it doesn't. Definitely some good songwriting, like a snap rap and ringtone rap type sense. Retains some of those ringtone songs on here. It does have a little bit of snap. Does have some of those typical kind of white tee type era type songs too from their 2004 days as well. So it does have some of that general bravado and drama as far as that pitch kind of happens. It's really a good beastly type product of a project here, I'd have to say. Even a Lil Wayne feature, which is a pretty good concept. Love the fact that Lil Wayne was on this particular stuff, just because Dem Franchize Boyz was rich enough to get some of those type folks. They did at least do a song with Jermaine Dupri and then Jim Jones and some of those type folks. I want to say they did a song with Too Short. It's either D Pharrell or Dem Franchize Boyz that did a song with Too Short, but it's just definitely the concept that they had some of these. Just do appreciate the concept. So I'm glad that there was a song with Lil Wayne, but it's just very low key. So it's just kind of concept. And once again, I'm not really official. I want to say this might have been an official product. This might have actually been a street album here. It's called The White Tee Gang. This project, once again, is called The White Tee Gang, the mixtape, which came out somewhere in 2007. I don't think it was like early 2007, just because the pitch behind it, they do talk about like the song A Bay Bay, pitches like that, the Hurricane Chris song as far as that particular kind of happens. And they had, so A Bay Bay was a song that came out somewhere in like the spring or summer of 2007. So it might have been like June, July, August 2007, somewhere in there. Not really positively sure as to full blown when it came out, but so they probably secured like a post like father like son era Lil Wayne as far as that pitch kind of happens, when he was kind of making like the Drought 3 and some of those type pitches, which is a good concept. But basically, because there's no singles, I might go ahead and say that there was one single, which might have been I'm Fresh. I'm Fresh was kind of a buzz song that wound up on their 2008 album later. I forget what that album's called, but I'm going to review that one at some stage. Definitely a pretty dope project. It's the fact that they got to their third album pitches like that, just when generally snap rap and ringtone rap was not thriving full blown, minus like the singles, I'd have to say. But it's a good concept. So I look after. I'll talk about I'm Fresh, but basically out of 18 songs on this particular mixtape, I wound up recommending 16. So the only two songs I don't recommend, or I wound up recommending 15. So this project is going to get a 10 out of 10, I would have to say. So the only three songs I don't recommend on here would just be Gangsta Shit, 104, and I'm a Beast. So talk about those real quick. Basically, I'm a Beast is just kind of like a tribal type one. Didn't really like the product of that particular song. Was just trying to be a real ferocious jungle like type production, but just didn't pull out the vibes. The production fare on that particular one just didn't really stand up to that. Gangsta Shit was just kind of an in-between kind of creeping type song in like day commerce type activity or late evening, late day, early evening type fare, but it just didn't pull out the vibes. Just kind of felt like something Boys in the Hood would do, just a worse rendition of that. And then 104 was just kind of a pounding type one, trying to be like another song similar to like I'm the Shit, but it just didn't pull out the vibe nearly as well as that particular song kind of did. It's just kind of a pounding type one, just some more kind of just flex type music, but just didn't really nail the vibe as well. But yeah, every other song on this 18 song project is dope. Just to say, Dem Franchize Boyz, like I really thoroughly enjoyed like their 2006 album. I do feel like that's a miniature classic, the On Top of Our Game from early 2006. Very underrated. The fact that it got to 3 singles, the fact that they were ringtone rap, that they had as many hits. I want to say that album went at least gold, so pitches like that, it was kind of a big deal, and that's pretty much one of their best projects. But this is one of their best projects too, I'd say. Very underappreciated and uncommonly known about. But this is like a good 1-2 punch. So I definitely would say Dem Franchize Boyz was on a pretty good string. But then I also enjoyed their 2004 album, which I reviewed back in April. So they just have a series of hits here, despite the fact that them not being known as full blown for like their lyrics. They do have some ringtone ready type bops on here. Definitely some good appeal with some of that. And this just continues that streak, minus the fact that this having like the chart type appeal. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be an album that they were going to pump out and then just switched it to like a mixtape, but it is a great project, so we'll get to some of that. But basically the first single or the buzz single or something like that, the song that at least had some degree of promotion about it, was the song I'm Fresh. This is like a possible buzz single here, like I was saying, good concept for that. It's like a good kickoff bravado. I would definitely feel like this is definitely like a neighborhood romp, and this is just like a get supplies kind of hit. I'd have to say get some Swishers, some Crown Royal, pick up some KFC, some pitches like that. I'd have to say good concept for that. Another good buzz song on here would be I'm the Shit. Really do appreciate this one. This is like a revving tune. I would definitely feel like this one to get you excited. This is like a thing's going to pop off type song. I would definitely feel like this has some good mixtape heat on here, and the buzz energy on this song is pretty high. So I'd have to say they do sample Young Jeezy on this particular song. I think it's off the song And Then What. Pretty good pitch for that. Do like the concept. I'm the Shit definitely has some good revving. I'm the Shit is definitely a good revving type one to kind of get for some exhilaration as far as a particular pitch kind of happens. It's a good, nice one. Kind of just got done with work shifts and pitches like that. I'd have to say in particular, it's a good, nice one to have for some good bravado and stunt type energy. Good concept for that. Real nice snap rap tune on here that's like vintage Dem Franchize Boyz days. If you're looking for more of that lean with it, rock with it, and oh, I think they like me energy, I would definitely say Roll Your Arms, pretty nice one within that concept. Maybe not as chart heavy, but I just think it's probably because most folks didn't commonly know about some of this type music around this type time off this project. This is like a classic DFB snap type gem. I'd have to say in particular, definitely some more snap thrills to kind of get somewhere circa 2007. This one definitely reminds me of Lean With It, Rock With It, and some of their singles off their 2006 album. This just continues like the dance fear or some of that type energy. So it's just that same sort of concept, maybe without like, I feel like it's just very identical. I think it's just within that relative fashion, just some good pitches to kind of get some of these here. Definitely pretty appreciable type one. She Likes Me is another one that kind of has some of that snap energy. So they do have some of those gems on here. Just some real good vintage kind of classic Dem Franchize Boyz from more of their 2006 era. There are some ones that remind me of White Tee. I would say that Drama kind of reminds me of White Tee, but She Likes Me is another one that just reminds me of songs like I Think They Like Me and Lean With It, Rock With It. But She Likes Me is like a vintage DFB snap dance job, I'd have to say in particular. This one gets things popping pretty quick, I'd have to say in particular. Just good concept for that, and it's like some hazy kind of evening fare. Some good concepts. May not have like the synth bass of like songs like Lean With It, Rock With It, but definitely the concept about it. This is good for like mixtape type fare and some free type music, just to kind of get some true more. I mean, if you think you know everything about Dem Franchize Boyz, it's like a stock hit to kind of remind folks of just like the concepts of what they were kind of up to. Good pitches, just some extra kind of, because the thing about snap music is just the fact that it kind of wore out relatively quickly, just between like 2004 to early mid 2007 pitches like that. But this is some good stuff to kind of continue that. Just some other further projects to kind of get with some of that type of appeal. It's just interesting that they had some good buzz songs on here that just had that just further sagas that particular snap type music and ringtone rap, some good concepts. I Whip is a pretty nice one. This has a Lil Wayne verse on here, which is a pretty good pitch. Not all of the Dem Franchize Boyz are on this particular song. It's just Parlay and Lil Wayne, but still pretty good concept. Get this one. This is like a vintage kind of 80s similar mixtape soul of a song. I'd have to say reminds me of some of that Don Cannon mixtape type fare that Lil Wayne does on like his dedication projects from like the mid 2000s. This definitely has like a good Wheezy cameo on there. I would have to say in particular, and it's like a get up and get to it kind of breeze of a song. I'd have to say, so it definitely reminds me of just some of that type fare, just almost like a bustle type song, mini hustle type song, and kind of get in particular, just some snap to it, get on the grind pitches like that. Good concept for that. Kind of a secret Lil Wayne verse here is not commonly known about. This is not one that really much knowledge is even known about. I question if this song is even on YouTube as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Just a pretty good concept, kind of see that. But this is like Lil Wayne circa early 2007, which he didn't have a ton of features around that time in particular, as far as I know. It's just kind of concept. This is kind of a secret era for Lil Wayne. It's kind of after Like Father, Like Son, but not quite Carter 3 as far as that pitch kind of happens. It's him more in like that Drought 3 era, which he was pretty shredding around that time. Leanin' is a pretty nice one. This like a summer haze kind of basic day activity. I'd have to say in particular, it's like a social breeze with like the ladies. I would definitely feel like, and this is just like some residential pastiming, I'd have to suppose. So it's a good concept. This song Leanin' and then like the song Nigga You Cheatin' With are two good breezy type ones to kind of get for some BZ type fare as far as that pitch kind of happens. It's standard residential type fare just within the concept. Just more low key type sense. It's residential hop and bop as far as that particular kind of goes. Neighborhood romps pitches like that. Do you like some of the low key type appeal, and especially for like a mixtape type fare, it works pretty damn well. Definite excellent concept. Old Schools is a pretty nice one, definite whip type song to kind of get here. It's like a tittering kind of night activity song, I'd have to say. It's like a switch to flip mode kind of excitement I would feel. Switch to flip mode excitement I would feel like about this one. Just got done with work shifts and pitches like that. Just kind of in an exhilarated type mood. This is kind of like it's like a head to the nightclub kind of stunt song, I'd have to say. So it's just a concept. I do like the concept of there being a little bit of like after work shift is kind of the excitement of just the relief of just tasks are done, responsibilities are done, but just getting to some turn up and just kind of heading towards it. And this is not really like a pounding type production. It's just kind of an in-between type one. It probably has like a 7, 6.5, 7, 7.25 in terms of like blistering type energy, but it's just the excitement of just the breeze of just the relief of just things being done and just getting ready. You know, you're going to get tore up tonight as far as pitches like that. This could probably be some good Thursday or Friday type music. I mean, in some cases, if you're more patient, I would almost suppose it might be able to be Tuesday, Wednesday type music, just knowing that in a few days it's going to pop off. It's just kind of the concept. This is some good exhilaration to kind of lead to like getting ready to get crunk later as far as that pitch kind of happens. There's some good concepts there. It's really good vehicle centric type tune to kind of get just within the aspect of just cruising around, getting ready to head towards like the excitement. Put Your Money Up is a pretty nice one. It's like a jazzy kind of nightclub hitter, I would have to say in particular. It's like a stock kind of DFB smash, I would definitely feel like, and this is definitely one that gets things started, I would have to say, and this is a pretty litty type song. Put Your Money Up is kind of an in-between type one, in between like snap type music and more southern fried type hip hop, something in between like Rick Ross, Shawty Low, Dem Franchize Boyz from 2006, and more snap type fare like Young Jock, Young Dro, some of those type folks. Just a good concept. Just circa 2007, 2008 standard southern fried type bop to kind of get for like some jazzy nightclub outing type fare. Good concept for that, especially for a mixtape. Love the concept of it being free and pitches like that. Just some good tunes here. Choosing is a pretty nice one. Choosing is definitely a pretty nice one. It's like a drooping but infectious kind of vehicle noise of a song in particular. This one goes great with Old Schools, I'd have to say. It's like a good pull up and kind of traverse buzzer of a song, I'd have to say in particular, and this is a pretty lit type song. Definitely appreciate the appeal. This is just a real thumping type one, good for the sound systems as far as that pitch can happens, at least for circa 2007, 2006, and like a snap rap type sense. This definitely is some good pull type music if you are fans, if you do continue to appreciate folks like Dem Franchize Boyz. I mean, definitely songs like Lean With It, Rock With It, and Riding Rims are some nice ones for the whip in terms of pitches like that, but just being able to say a song like Choosing has some of that type of appeal for like a mixtape type or just real thump, just southern bass type one to kind of get. Drama is a pretty nice one, I'd have to say. It's like a stock kind of franchise snap hitter of a song, I'd have to say in particular. This one definitely reminds me of like the White Tee days from 2004. Not a ton of songs that kind of get back to those 2004 days, but this is like a drama type one, similar to like Crime Mob and folks like that type days. Dem Franchize Boyz from 2004 is like a more gnarled kind of jump and dance cut, I would definitely feel like. So this is kind of a little bit of snap in there. Definitely reminds me of like She Likes Me and Roll Your Arms, some of those type ones. Definite kind of snap dance type tune, just to kind of get in a more dramatic kind of typical Lil Jon and Crime Mob type crunk sense, that I'd say. It's just vintage of Dem Franchize Boyz early days, so it is a nice one, real nice popish beat. Nigga You Cheatin' With is a pretty nice one. It's like a ladies kind of summer jive of a song, I'd have to say in particular. It's like a basic kind of residential fare, I would definitely have to say, more kind of more local neighborhood pastiming, just like Leanin'. I had to say in particular some good concepts for that, and this is like a hazy kind of live pastiming of a song. I had to say, so it's just some good bops just for that particular fair. Is the concept of just kick back with chicas as far as that pitch can have them, smoke a few pitches like that, get some barbecue, some backyard hazes, pitches like that, summer lemonade type fair things of that nature as far as that pitch can happen. Good concepts there. 745 is a nice one as well. It's like a looming kind of street neighborhood outing of a song that had to say in particular. It's like some definite night commerce, smoke one on the go type pitches as far as that particular kind of happens. Just out and about type fair and like some evening, late evening type sense. Just pitch at night, some of that type fair, demon time, night owl type energy. This is just a great song to be wide awake to. I'd say it's definitely a concept, just kind of similar to like some of those localized type night traverse type ones that 36 Mafia are so good at. Just smokage, just going to gas stations, pitches like that. But it's just more vehicle bound. It's a little bit more distant commerce as far as that pitch can happen. It's just not like standard short errand type fare, but just kind of more just in the concept of commerce and just pitches like that. Just some night activities, whether it's just wrapping up errands or just overall getting drive through some of that type pitch, just in a more busy, bustling type sense. Just a little bit more activeness about it. Some great just smoke on the go, like I was saying, some good concepts for that. Another highlight is Got It Like That. It's like a glaring kind of nightclub noise of a song I had to say in particular. Pretty similar to Put Your Money Up and like pretty similar to Put Your Money Up, Fuck You Mean, Roll Your Arms, some of those type ones. Drama, definitely some of those type pitches I'd have to say. It's like a great social, smoke a few out and about type fun I'd have to say about this particular one. It's just an overall litty type time. So it's just some good concepts kind of get some of these. It's kind of like the aspect of just paying attention to how some of these type work. This one's just a little bit more kind of out and about, just within a more kind of marinating type sense I'd have to say. Just a real kind of maybe you're more than a little bit stoned, just kind of zoning out a bit, pitches like that. Pretty social type bop to kind of get some of these on here. I mean, it's relatively ravenous, but it's not like one of the tore up type ones where you're really causing like a rowdy type energy. It's just kind of more appreciating the night, but just kind of a little bit just alert, just within the concept of it's just kind of an appreciating the night type tune, just to kind of get just with a little bit of just appreciating the night type fair, just with the more glared type tone, just some real good litty type night activity as far as that pitch can happen. Just smokage in your system, just enjoying the thrills, I would have to say. Good with some of these other night type hazes. So this is a pretty beefing type project here. Just the fact that Dem Franchize Boyz went this particular hard on this project is pretty awesome to kind of get so many of these. It's just one after the other, even with some of these buzz songs and singles on here that have some of that relative pitch. Fuck You Mean is another nice one. This is like a fierce kind of dance club noise of a song I had to say in particular. It's like some good DFB crunk gems to kind of get just with that sort of sound. It's like a rowdy kind of turn up, I'd have to say, and this is just vintage Dem Franchize Boyz, I would feel like. Fuck You Mean is definitely a good pairing with drama. Some of those type pitches takes it back to like the White Tea days and some of those type fairs, so they're more rowdy type sense from 2004. It felt like the 2004 album with the song White Tea on there was a little bit more rowdy within the standard kind of vintage crime mob Lil Jon type sense, more so than their 2006 Snap type fair, which is a pretty good evolution just because they handle both those sounds type well, but you do get both those type sounds on here in certain pieces as far as that pitching goes. It's a very balanced type project. It's within the concept of the varietized type stuff. I mean, the only thing it really lacks is just the concept of like a nice relatively high buzz single. This with the concept when you think of a song by Lil Wayne off like the Drought 3, like that song he did to Mr. Jones, which is like Ride for My Niggas, some of those type ones that were just street gems and pitches like that. I had to say this album might have some of that, but it's just kind of the concept of this project is so low key. I just question like the relative popularity of this project. This project might have been fly as hell back in 2007 around that particular time, but it just felt like it kind of got wrapped up and rolled underneath the carpet pretty quickly as far as that pitch can happen. So I just feel like the sheer amount of folks that if I were to punch in like the White Tea Gang mixtape on Google or pitches like that, I think pretty much the only thing that would really come up about this particular product would just be the Internet Archive having this particular mixtape. So it's just the sheer amount of information that's left over. It just feels like there's not websites that really know about it. There's just not information or articles really written about it. So I just question the true nature of what this project was kind of about when it came out. There's so many things mysterious about this project. Just the concept of its actual release date and things like that. It's just mostly a mystery. It just kind of happens to be a thing. But yeah, this particular mixtape gets a 10 out of 10. I'm going to go ahead and give the social score of this mixtape like a 9.5 out of 10. Like I would give it a 10 out of 10 just because the quality on here is just the fact that it's so minimally known about. I feel like if you don't find this review, or if you find it like 5-6 years from now, something of that relative pitch, I just would have to say is kind of the concept of this is a product that just doesn't have most of the information. Dem Franchize Boyz is kind of an afterthought in today's times compared to all the stuff that's in rap music and just all the other subgenres and pitches like that, the TikTok type fair and radio type fair here as far as that pitch kind of goes. So I feel like if you don't invest in like the Dem Franchise, if you don't invest in like the Dem Franchise Boyz reviews playlist that I have on this channel and notice this particular product, or you're not within the immediate fear of finding it, it's this kind of concept that it just feels like it may not get the recognition, which is a huge disappointment because this is an excellent and kind of Excelsior type project that has a just sheer blistering type quality with plenty of social snap and buzz songs and pitches like that. So yeah, the social score gets a 9.5 out of 10 just because of the fact that it's just very low key, and I just question the casual songs are definitely on here. I feel like some of these are like some nice hitters, some good club type fare, some lady songs, some residential bops, some pickup kegs, and pitch, cases of Crown Royal pitches like that, some of that type fair pizza, PlayStation type music. But this is kind of the smoke edge, but it's just kind of the concept that I just question how many full blown folks are going to find this. But in terms of future, Dem Franchize Boyz has not put out an album since 2008, I'd have to say. And then the most recent project, just in general, that they've done is another secretive project here, which is just the Voltron mixtape from 2011. Hopefully I can find that one. I'm definitely going to complete Dem Franchize Boyz' catalog. If there are any more beyond these 5 projects, the 3 albums and the 2 mixtapes, I'll definitely try to locate it and see if I can find it. But this one was tough enough to kind of find here just within that relative pitch. There may be more than 5 projects, not really as full blown sure, but if they are, they're kind of a mystery. But we're definitely going to get to some more of these and fuck with them. There's definitely some local residential disc type craze for snap music and this overall vicious type of appeal that it has.